To welcome our Attorney General, Henry McMaster. Henry.
Yo, I'm happy to see you. This is the biggest convention yet. I think I've been to about all of them. 4 in one day one time. I would get up there speaking and you forget what you said. You got to keep notes with you so you don't repeat it after you go to something. Thank you all for coming. Everybody here could be somewhere else today. You got other things to do. I tell you, a little while ago when those held up their hands as being here for the first time, now that's a real thrill to see people coming for the first time. And I just guess that you're tired, that you're right on the edge of being mad, that you're wondering what in the world is going on with your government, that maybe for the first time in your life you're starting to be a little bit scared about your government. And we're looking at Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi and President Obama and his administration and $11 trillion in borrowed money that we're going to have to pay back with interest, or probably we won't, but our children will. And it's just the goofiest, wrong-headed. If it weren't so dangerous, it would be laughable. But it is dangerous. It's dangerous. Countries can collapse. And there's one institution in American life that's dedicated to the proposition of keeping us on the right road, of going to the meetings, espousing the cause, standing up for the principles, explaining it to the young people, and that's the Republican Party. So I thank you for being here. I'm happy to be here. This is the biggest convention yet. I wouldn't be anywhere else. I love coming to these things. I love politics because that's where the action is. I want to communicate briefly and clearly, because I only have a few minutes. Reminded that a young man and woman got married. They didn't communicate much, didn't talk much, had a whirlwind romance. Didn't communicate, got married, moved into the little nice house. The mama-in-law moved in with them. But they didn't talk about it because they just didn't communicate. But after about 6 months, the young groom says, "Baby, don't you think it's time we found your mama another place to live?" And she says, "My mama, I thought she was your mama." Well, see, we communicate. We don't make mistakes like that. Now, we got a lot of great people that want to run for governor of this state. Some have announced, some have not. They all have great qualities. But I am the one that has been in the arena. I'm the only one that has held an executive office. The governor's office is an executive office. It's not a legislative office where you vote yes or no, although that's important. It's not a judicial office where you rule on cases, all that's important. It is an executive office where the buck stops with you. You must make decisions. You must find out what the problems are, find a solution, and then get the job done. Now, a lot of people get elected to office and they forget where they came from, not me. Some of you will remember that the first candidate endorsed by the South Carolina Citizens for Life in 1986 was Old Henry. And I'm proud of that, and I haven't wavered from that one instance in all those years. Some of you may remember that I had the great honor of being the first United States attorney in the country, appointed by one of the greatest men that has ever lived, walked the face of the earth. That's our great President Ronald Reagan. And I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of that. I wish we had more just like him. I had the pleasure of being your chairman for 9 years. We made progress. We took the House. We took the Senate. We took a majority of the constitutional offices, and we're not going to give them back. I'm a family man. Been married for 31 glorious years to a woman. And I had the great honor on your behalf of leading the battle with the Palmetto Family Council to see that our Constitution in South Carolina thinks like we do and says that marriage in South Carolina will be between one man and one woman and no other way. 78% of the vote. Also, I'm a Christian. You don't need to be a Christian to be a Republican, but it helps. It helps with anything. But when the ACLU and the Wicked Witch in Great Falls said to the town council, "Why, you can't use Jesus' name in a prayer. You got to leave it out. That is, the government is going to tell you how to pray." It was your friend Henry who got into the case and said, "Nothing doing. The way you pray at home is the way you can pray in public. You don't have to leave any words out. If you want to pray in Jesus' name, and you pray in Jesus' name, and I'll defend your right to do so." Now, I believe it. I've been in the arena. I've been in the arena. President Reagan's United States Attorney went after public corruption. We arrested and prosecuted 31 of them. Judges, sheriffs, all kinds in Dillon County, you might remember. We went after the international drug smugglers. We caught over 130 of them, if my count is right. Convicted them all. They brought in almost $1 billion worth of drugs. As your Attorney General, and that was for 4 years, a statewide executive office. Now, I'm now in my 6th year in this statewide executive office. What have I done? I got the law passed with the legislature. I said we need to have a law where we can prosecute the white-collar environmental criminals. They passed the law and we have it now. We can use it. I said we need a law to go after the gangs, the state grand jury. They passed the law. We have it now. We're prosecuting them now for the first time using the state grand jury. I said we got child sex predators in the internet. Hear me loud and clear. They are out there. They are all over the world, and they come into your house through that computer. I said we need a law to make that a crime. They passed the law. It's a 10-year felony, and we've locked up 152 of them so far, and we're just getting started. We need to wife beaters. Drugs, violence in the home is destroying the homes. We got those laws passed, we got it organized, we got centralized criminal domestic violence courts in 36 of the 46 counties, and we've prosecuted over 2,000 people who are destroying the lives of these homes with this violence against their spouse. And we're just getting started good on that too. Do you remember when the developers were threatening the Marsh Islands down in our beautiful low country? I issued the order that says you cannot do that because those Marsh Islands do not belong to you. They are part of the state property. The King of England, unless he's given it to you, it still belongs to the people of South Carolina, the people of Greenville County, to all of us, and we have preserved that natural heritage through issuing that order. North Carolina's trying to steal our water. They think they can dam it up and keep it all. So does Georgia. If North Carolina can do it with the Catawba, which flows into the Wateree and then into Marion and Moultrie and then out to Santee and the Cooper, then they can do it on the Yadkin that goes into the PD. And if they can do it, ladies and gentlemen, so can the state of Georgia with the Savannah. When we're out of water, we're out of luck. We're out of prosperity. We're out of agriculture. We're out of the environment. We're out of industry. We're out of business. I brought the lawsuit. They said, but the United States Supreme Court is a mighty high court to ask to hear your case in the first instance like a trial court. We said we're not going to waste time on this. We're going to ask the Supreme Court to hear it. But the Supreme Court has only heard a case in its original jurisdiction 137 times in the history of the court. We said this is a good case. We're going to get them to hear it. That case is now on the docket of the United States Supreme Court. 138 times they've accepted such a case, and South Carolina's case is going for the Supreme Court. We're going to protect that water resource for the future of this state. Finally, when the good people of this county and Pickens County were cheated, Securities Fraud by an institution near here, they came to us. We had a group, and they said, what can we do? We got 12,000 people that have lost about $238 million. We said we can do nothing because we don't have a law that allows us to investigate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I asked the General Assembly, give me a law that allows me to prosecute those people. They passed the law quickly. We investigated that case. It's the biggest white-collar fraud case, securities fraud, ever in the history of South Carolina. We found the 6 people responsible. We indicted them, and all 6 have been convicted. I'm going to supercharge the research universities that are leading us into new discoveries, nanotechnology, hydrogen technology. I'm going to supercharge the 16 technical colleges that work with them. For every scientist we produce, you got to have 10 technicians working with them. I'm going to supercharge the ports. Most states don't have ports. We have a great one in Charleston, might get another one in Jasper, and a small one in Georgetown. We have a tourism industry. People come from all over to see what we have here, and that's something that can't be outsourced. If we keep our taxes low, and broad, and supercharge the assets that we have, we can compete with everybody. But the final point is this: it won't happen without you. Because it is the philosophy of the Republican Party, it's the words that we hold dear in that creed that shine the light for the way that we want to go. So I thank you for being here. I urge you to stay strong, stay proud of South Carolina, and keep working for this great state. Thank you.